No, this is your leadership coach Tushar Chaudhary, and I'm going to bring. I have bring something very important topic today to discuss with you. Why doing everything right is still keeping you stuck. Okay, before I go more deeper into this topic, I just quickly introduce to all of you, those who are very new to me. Um I am Tushar Chaudhary. I'm a leadership coach, and I help mid-career professionals, especially project managers, who are hardworking professionals, and they do everything right for making the things happen, ensure the things are doing the deliveries are happen properly. They do extra work, additional work. They sacrifice their family time. They work on weekends and late nights to ensure that the work is delivered rightly to the clients. They take additional responsibilities, and when there's a time come for promotion or salary increases, they are not being considered, they are not being valued. For such a professionals, I help them to come out of that stagnation of career stagnation or that stuck feeling, and help them to grow into an influential leaders so that they can create impact, influence, and also have high income what they really deserve. Okay, so that's about me. And now I'm going to go and discuss this topic: why doing everything right is still keeping you stuck in your career. Okay, so let me start with a question. And this question is not to judge you, but to reflect together. Okay, so tell me, how many of you feel that you are doing everything right at work? That you are sincere, you work hard, you meet all the deadlines, you follow the process, you don't create trouble to anyone. Actually, you create trouble for yourself by taking additional responsibilities on behalf of others. And yet, somewhere inside, you feel stuck. No big growth, no major shift happening in your career, no excitement. Now, if that's you, if this is resonate with you, let me tell you, you are not alone. There are millions of people like this. Okay, you know, few years back, I read this book. What got you here won't get you there. That book, which is by Marshall Goldsmith, has changed my entire thinking at mid-career level person. Now, M- Marshall Goldsmith makes very makes one very uncomfortable but very powerful point in that book. He said that the behaviors that made you successful earlier can become the very reason to stop your growing later. I want you to write it down. Let that sink in. What does that mean? That the habits that helped you earlier, like for example, maybe the habit of being reliable, being obedient, being technically strong, may now be limiting your leadership growth. Not because these habits are wrong, but because these habits are not enough. These are incomplete. Let me share a very real project experience from my own journey, my personal my project experience. I was leading a project where the client was superbly demanding. Timelines are tight, and there was so much of pressure, high pressure. The stakeholders are also demanding, expecting the results to come out fast. And one team member, I remember that team member, he was doing everything right. Tasks done on time, documents been done perfectly, no complaints from the any stakeholder. But whenever uncertainty come, he would say, "Please, can you tell me what to do?" And at the same time, there was another team member in the same project. He was little different. No perfection, sometimes rough. The tone was rough, he was handling people rough. But when things went wrong, he used to say, let me take this one, I'll figure this out. Over the time, guess what happened? Management started trusting the second person more, not because he was smarter, but because he reduced the uncertainty for others. And that's when I realized doing things right keeps work running, but doing what is needed makes people trust you. And trust is the real currency of leadership. Do you agree with me? Type trust in the chat in the comment section. Now, the question is why this good behavior can become a trap for our growth. See, most mid career professionals are rewarded early in their career for saying yes, avoiding conflict, being polite, not challenging seniors. But when I read this book, what I found that what author Marshall Goldsmith highlights a silent problem in that book is that successful people often believe if I work harder at the same behavior, if I follow the same pattern, I will grow more. Okay? And that's not the truth. That's not the ultimate truth. At senior levels, in the leadership ladder, at senior level, growth comes from letting go of the old habits, changing how you respond to the situation, and adjusting how you show up. There are a lot of blind spots we all have. At the early stage of your career, at a certain level, some of the habits might have helped you. But now, when you go to the leadership level, there is a new dimension added in your career is a people dimension. Now, while working with the people, while dealing with the people, all those what you have earned or learned in the first few years of your career, there cannot be used directly for the people dimension. At the early stage of the career, you were focusing on getting expertise into something technical, your tools, applying that tools. That's why you get little faster growth into that early career. But when the people dimension is added in your career, the game has changed now. Those all habits, old patterns will not going to help you. Okay, and that is what the insight I got from that book, which is a bulb on moment for me. There's another book which that gave me the similar kind of clarity. That book was, so the clarity about emotional intelligence. The book was also by Daniel Goleman, The Emotional Intelligence. In that book, Daniel Goleman explained that the leadership success depends heavily on your self-awareness, how you handle the pressure, how you manage the emotions, and how you influence people. Now, in simple terms, being right is less important than being effective. Okay, please let that sink in. Being right is less important than being effective. And from another book, The Black Swan, which I by the Nasser Taleb, I learned that uncertainty is unavoidable, but how you behave in uncertainty decides your growth. Do you agree with me? This is what we discussed yesterday's session. People who only follow rules feel lost in chaos. But people who can think, decide, challenge the old patterns, and act calmly, they survive, they thrive, and they grow. That is the difference. Okay? Now, to help to make your life easy to understand this concept in more detail, I want to share with you three behavior shifts that if you're feeling stuck despite doing everything right, I want you to implement these three behavior shifts and let me know how this work for you. Okay, The shift number one, I want you to shift your mindset from being right to being helpful. So ask yourself this question: how can I reduce confusion for others? How can I make my team members' life easy? Now, you tell me how many of our bosses, whoever our bosses were, just go back to your past experiences and tell me how many of your bosses they really made your life easy. Yeah, just look at all your experiences. Most of the environments I come across and most of my mentees I'm coaching them, I realize they have gone through highly tough toxic environments where the bosses are demanding and micromanaging. Okay, so my question to all those leaders, so they aspiring to become a leader, I want to ask you, what type of attitude, what type of shift you want to bring in you. Are you going to be micromanaging? Are you going to be always going to be having the being right attitude, or you want to be being helpful to your people? How can you reduce the confusion for others? That is the first shift you should be having. Second shift, I want you to move from this waiting approach to contributing approach. So instead of asking for suggestions or instructions or guidance or expert advice, I want you to offer a direction. Okay, that's the second shift. The third shift I want you to have, that I want you to move from past successes to future relevances. Past successes to future relevance. Just ask yourself, what habit must I let go of now? This is the question we should check every time. The growth is not about adding more skills, it's about you stopping the old behaviors, you identifying those blind spots, you identifying those old patterns that no longer serve you. Okay? See, if you really want to have a different result, you have to have a different approach. For that, you have to be agile, you have to be adaptive to the new environment. You have to keep asking yourself a question: whatever I learned few years back, is this real still valid for me to apply? Okay, there are lots of blind spots many of us is having. It is our responsibility, our duty to clear those blind spots. Okay, now I want to close this talk today with a very powerful thought. What got you here may not get you where you want to go next. So you are not stuck because you are doing something wrong. Okay, you may be stuck because you are holding on to that habits or behaviors that once worked for you in the past but not now. So leadership growth is not dramatic, it is the journey of reflection. You have to reflect in that journey, and again, it is an intentional journey. Okay, you put intent in that one for leadership. I always ask this question to all of my mentees who aspire to be a leader, that why you really want to be a leader, what is that reason which really drives you to be a leader? Intentional. And third is behavioral. So leadership growth is not dramatic, it is reflective, it is intentional, and it is behavioral. Okay, now if this message, if this video has created a bulb on moment for you, I want you to comment awareness in the chat section, in the comment section. And in case you're going through this stuck feeling right now and you really want to start working on your leadership journey, I want you to book one-to-one session with me. There's link in the comment section, and also you can find it on my LinkedIn profile page. Okay, book an appointment there, or you can join my WhatsApp group. Influential Leader Hub, where it's a community of like-minded people, the same mid-career professionals. They're collaborating with each other. We're sharing openly our problems, and we do not judge each other. We help each other to come out of that phase of our struggle and walk on that journey of leadership. Okay, with this note, I am signing off today, your leadership coach Tushar Chaudhary. I want you to share with me your learnings out of this video. DM me directly, join my WhatsApp community. If you want to talk to me, book one-to-one session with me. Okay, and with this note, I'll sign off today and I will come up tomorrow with another leadership insight. Stay tuned with me on LinkedIn. God bless you. Take care of yourself.